The latest results are coming, and our negotiations have failed. Now, whether it's Jiyue or Baidu, Jiyue, or the CEO Xi Jinping, no one will be responsible for our more than 4,000 employees. No one is even willing to pay the staff's wages, this month's social insurance, or due compensation. He deliberately drags his feet, keeping on dragging until everyone forgets about this matter. I'm so angry because they have so many tricks and they keep on eliminating the attention of the news. Our current situation is like that of migrant workers who go back to their hometowns for Chinese New Year without collecting their wages. Also like the laid-off workers who cannot receive compensation. From ancient times to the present, no matter what era it is, no matter what qualifications you have, no matter what kind of work you are looking for, as long as you are an employee, your rights are not guaranteed. Our new energy vehicle company, Jiyue, is in the midst of a whirlwind of employees' rights defense. At the same time, the German luxury car brand Porsche also launched a major layoff in China, cutting 10% of its permanent staff and 30% of its outsourced staff. Compared with Jiyue, Porsche's compensation to employees is very reasonable. The different attitudes of these two companies show the huge gap between Chinese and foreign companies. One reason for these car companies to either lay off workers or close down is that as the Chinese economy goes downhill, the middle class in mainland China is also tightening their purse strings and spending less, even in Shanghai, the most economically developed city. Today, we will talk about related issues. But before we do, we would like to invite you to subscribe. Your support is our greatest motivation and helps us bring you more valuable content. Now, moving on. Porsche responded with a layoff rumor that the news was not valid. However, internal employees told Chinese media auto community that the news was true and that the layoffs had begun earlier this month and lasted about 2 weeks. Porsche employees said that the company plans to cut nearly 100 positions, half regular staff and half outsourced workers. As of now, the layoff of regular employees is almost over. There are about 400 staff working at Porsche China, so this round of layoffs accounts for nearly 30%. Porsche's severance package is N+6. What does this mean? N refers to the number of years worked, which will count as the same amount of months' salary, then plus another 6 months' salary. For example, with a monthly salary of $4,100 and 10 years of working, an employee could receive up to $66,000 in compensation. For senior executives, compensation can be as high as $140,000. This severance compensation standard reflects the recognition and respect from this long-established German car company for its employees. One Chinese social media influencer, Jiyue said, "I have to admit that Porsche's compensation for this layoff is indeed generous. As long as they get the money, the employees can feel calmer when facing layoffs and take some time off at home before deciding what to do." The news shocked many Chinese netizens. I've never heard of a major domestic manufacturer offering such severance compensation. Am I just ignorant? Isn't it normal for Porsche to lay off staff? Sales have already dropped so much. However, do you know that the severance package is N+6? My goodness, that means you can stay at home for 2 years and still get paid. The new powers in our country's automaking industry have closed down so many and they default on payments to suppliers and wages to employees. Oh dear, and some time ago when one car company was on the verge of closing down, they still required employees to drive to work at their own expense. For a while, I couldn't figure out who the Chinese enemy was. There are rumors that one big domestic auto company gave out 2 mooncakes and 2 bottles of drinks per person for the Mid-Autumn Festival, while an overseas new energy vehicle company gave each employee 2.5 kilograms of rice, 2.5 kilograms of noodles, and a box of mooncakes for the Mid-Autumn Festival. I'm not saying that you have to give gifts for the Mid-Autumn Festival. I just want to say that sometimes we can really learn from foreign car companies and treat staff like human beings. This man describes his previous experience working for a foreign company to show the difference with domestic companies. Since I have also worked for foreign companies before, this inevitably reminded me of my previous experience. Before laying off employees, foreign companies usually do 6 things. First, the Human Resources Department will send you an email every day to inform you of any internal job opportunities within the company, and priority will be given to hiring their own employees. The second is to provide re-employment services, which is amazing. To put it bluntly, the company will help you find a new job. That is very impressive. The company knows that if you are laid off, you need to find a new job. That's okay. The company will help you find one. Some foreign companies even hire specialized information companies to help you find a new job. He said, thirdly, the human resources department of the company will provide special training courses to teach you how to write a resume and some interview skills so that you can perform better when you go to an interview. This is something that almost no company in China will do. The fourth is that you are usually paid N+3, and you are also given a 2-month buffer period, which is actually equivalent to giving you N+5. Because during this 2-month buffer period, you are not required to come to work, whether you were looking for a job, going to an interview, or even just staying home and doing nothing. This 2-month buffer period, your salary will be paid normally, and social insurance contributions will be paid normally. Fifth, the non-compete agreement is immediately terminated. Sixth, the unused annual leave will be converted into cash for you, or you will be allowed to take paid vacation. It's really just like saying on the internet, in most foreign companies, labor law is just the bottom line. In the past year, except for the CFO, there have been several changes in the senior management of Porsche China. The latest layoff plan was implemented by Alexander Polich, the new president and CEO of Porsche China, who took office on September 1st. He said the plan is to optimize the management over the next 2 years and retain only about 100 dealers. Currently, Porsche has 154 dealers in China, and if the number is reduced to 100, it would mean a reduction of 1/3. Porsche entered China in 2001 and has been growing steadily for over 20 years. In 2015, China became Porsche's largest single market in the world and has maintained this status for 7 consecutive years. Porsche's sales in China account for more than 30% of its global sales, making it a true cash cow. But it changed in 2022. That year, Porsche's sales in China fell for the first time, with sales of 93,300 down 2.5% from the previous year. This figure actually is significant because China is the only market in the world where Porsche sales declined. Last year, the downward trend accelerated and the Chinese market plummeted by 15%, with only 79,300 vehicles sold. Sales in the first 3 quarters of this year were even more dismal, down 29%. China has become the brand's fastest declining market in the world. Compared to Yue Auto, Porsche has done a good job. An insider revealed a few days ago that over the past 3 years, Jiyue Auto has lost more than 1.4 billion. The company recently announced that the team will be disbanded on the spot, leaving only about 100 operation and maintenance staff. There is no plan for social insurance contribution or provident fund and severance compensation for its 5,000 employees. It's reported that this year Jiyue has rapidly expanded 140 stores. Employees in Beijing, Shanghai, and others have not received the social insurance contribution and provident fund in November. The outsourcing team's social insurance and provident fund are not paid from September to November. Over the past few days, Jiyue CEO Yue has been surrounded by thousands of employees, car owners, suppliers, etc. at the company's headquarters. The authorities deployed a large number of police to the site. Jiyue employees are worried that Yue will run away and have been taking shifts to keep an eye on him. Ms. Xiao, one of the staff members, said, "We have a fleet of cars following him even when he goes to the airport. He is a shareholder of the company. We are negotiating and fighting for our legitimate rights and interests. This is what we deserve. Because we have to keep an eye on President Chai, we take turns on duty. The policeman has been with us for 12 hours and they change shifts." Li Hongxin is a vendor and Jiyue's 5 million advertising fee is out of his pocket. Now he is worried about getting his money back. Jiyue owes my company 5 million for advertising. From the beginning of the official account to the regional account, we helped to pay in advance for advertising, and now Jiyue owes us a total of 5.48 million. We may be able to get back about 410,000, so Jiyue owes us 5 million. I don't know what to do. Yesterday, I heard that Jiyue was being disbanded, and I was dazed. He said that there are countless families behind the suppliers, and if the money owed to them is not collected, some suppliers may lose all they have. Let's say I do business with Jiyue and help to pay 5 million for Jiyue, of which 1.37 million is secured by my own mortgage. In other words, if I don't get this money back, I will lose everything and become homeless. Another 2.74 million I borrowed from relatives, and in the future I will have to bear the debt of this 2.74 million, which means the rest of my life. My whole life is ruined.
基本上就搭上了这一辈子。
I'm on the road to collect payment from Jiyue. Today I'm still in Jiyue's working area, continuing to collect money. I've been here for 1 day and 1 night. I didn't get any rest at all last night. I just lay on the table and closed my eyes for a while. Everyone is very tired. I'm surrounded by other vendors. Some of them couldn't hold on, so they just leaned over here and dozed off. And this big guy, come on, say hello.
对。
We're now at the entrance to Xia Yiping's meeting room. He's inside. This is the internet celebrity wall. The whole industrial zone is full of workers, car owners, and suppliers who are all suffering here, waiting for an explanation and a result. Right now, the priority is to solve some of the problems of the car owners and employees. So far, none of our suppliers have met with Xia Yiping in person, and there has been no opportunity for dialogue.
我们供应商到现在为止没有跟夏一平碰上任何面，没有任何对话的机会。
Aza is a worker at Jiyue. She said she and her colleagues were trying to defend their rights, and the situation was tough.
无奈之下，我们围堵了老板。
Helplessly, we surrounded the boss and demanded that he pay the full amount of our social insurance contributions for November and December of this year, pay the outstanding wages, pay the N+1 compensation to the workers who were laid off, and complete the residence permit process for the workers. These are our most basic demands. Although the company paid the social insurance contributions for November, it never gave a clear plan about how to pay the wages for November, and the wages, social insurance contributions, as well as the compensation for December. The company's business has now come to a standstill, and many departments have been dissolved. Behind this is a complex issue of the shareholders and a capital chain crisis. Later, the shareholders intervened and set up an emergency team to move things forward, but the content of the meetings was never made public. What will be the final outcome? We really have no idea.
最终结果怎么样？我们实在没底。
This man is also a Jiyue employee.
吉越汽车如果申请破产，别说赔偿了。
If Jiyue goes bankrupt, you won't get any severance compensation, not to mention wages and social insurance. There's nothing you can do about it, and it's completely legal. Don't think that Geely and Baidu, as such powerful shareholders, will help. As long as they fulfill their capital contribution obligations, they won't need to do more things, and you can't do anything to them. These two big companies' processing is completely compliant and legal. I feel that these big shareholders are no longer taking care of things, so we employees have no hope.
所以我们这些员工
Due to declining sales, these large companies have laid off employees and even closed down. Why did this happen? Although they all have their own reasons, one reason that should not be overlooked is the decline of the Chinese middle class. In recent years, the middle class has had a hard time. In the midst of China's declining economic environment, they face the pressure of unemployment and wage cuts, but they still have to pay their mortgages, so prices have been slashed across the board, from luxury goods and luxury cars to cultural curiosities and antiques. Even the big city of Shanghai is no exception.
魔都经济竟然这样了。
The economy of the Magic City has really taken a turn for the worse. I went shopping at the IFC Mall over the weekend and was really surprised. It was 2 or 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, but there were hardly any people on the first floor of the mall. In the past, I was afraid to go shopping at the IFC on weekends because there were always long lines at every store. Even the cosmetics counters on the first basement floor are almost empty except for the staff. My favorite French bistro is also closed. Their soufflé was delicious and was right in front of the Apple Store. What a pity for such a good location. Only the Apple Store is bustling with people thanks to the iPhone 16. It's said that in the first half of this year, sales at Plaza 66 stores were down 24% compared to last year. I wonder if people will still buy luxury goods in a downturn.
还会买奢侈品吗？
The doors of the LV Center in Shanghai are deserted and no one is buying luxury bags.
魔都人民
Can't even the people of Shanghai afford it? Let's do a little survey. When was the last time you bought a luxury handbag? The LVMH group, which owns 75 luxury brands, used to be able to raise prices without worrying about sales. Its stores were always full, but now they're shrinking around the world. Even the store in the heart of Shanghai City is deserted.
新的门店都没人逛。
The same is true in Shenzhen. Everyone seems to have stopped spending.
天呐，连一线城市都没人消费了。
Oh my god, no one is spending money even in first-tier cities. A few days ago, a large shopping mall in Longgong District, Shenzhen, had 690,000 visitors in its first 5 days of operation. But guess how much money was spent per person? $5.50. That's not even enough for a meal. It was really busy there, but people weren't spending money. Not only in Shenzhen, but also in Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou, consumption figures have fallen sharply. And even the rich in Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou are not spending. For example, Swire Pacific is in the high-end shopping districts of Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou. Its sales have dropped significantly. Sales of luxury goods have shrunk rapidly. Brands such as Gucci and Louis Vuitton, which used to sell like hotcakes in China, have also been hit hard this year because of the general environment.
今年在大环境的影响下，也是遭到了暴击。
This Patek Philippe has been returned for 6 months, and it really can't be sold. It's from 2024 and it's never been worn. The 5180 has a skeletonized movement design, and the whole watch is really beautifully made. It would cost $156,000 to buy it in a boutique, and now it's $82,000 short and can't be sold. That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.